Hey everybody, Myco here. I was just in the middle of finishing up all of my cleaning duties that I do between cycles here. Actually, just about getting ready to bring the new plants down. And before I did that, the last thing I was doing was actually taking a look at my mini split. And what we're going to talk about here is mini split maintenance. And just to touch on that subject as a whole real quick, these particular systems, and when I say that I mean referring to ductless systems, mini splits, wall hanger systems particularly, they all really don't require all too much maintenance, and the only maintenance that they really require is cleaning. With a conventional heat pump or air conditioning system like you would find in your residence or in a commercial setting, requires far more maintenance than these systems, which is actually one thing that adds to their greatness, is the fact that they are really pretty damn carefree for the most part. But there are a couple of things that you do need to keep up on that are pretty damn important. And the first thing, which is obvious, is the filters. And I've never been a big fan of these filters. You can tell mine are pretty damn dirty, but you can tell that these filters really do not capture very small particles. I don't know if you guys can really see that, but you know, your average dust particle for the most part will just fly right on by that son of a bitch. And you can see that I've captured quite a bit of dust on here, but to be honest, I mean, this is probably 5-6 months of dust buildup, and I mean, I have a pretty fucking dusty grow room, to be honest with you. So with that being said, obviously you want to clean these. I would say check them out, you know, every couple of months, rinse them off, shake out the excess water, and go ahead and reinstall them. It's really easy. But if majority of that dust is flying right on through the damn filter, where does it end up? Well, it ends up on your evaporator coil. And without going too far into the refrigeration cycle, your evaporator coil is one of the major components of the refrigeration circuit, and with a clogged evaporator coil, it can hamper your efficiency, number one, and it can actually cause equipment damage, to make a long story short. And basically what an evaporator coil is, and it is in a nutshell, it's basically a radiator, and I assume that most of you, if not all, know what a radiator is, so I'm not gonna go as far as explaining that. And another term for it is basically a heat exchanger, if that clarifies it a little bit better for you. But between these very fine aluminum fins is where dust can and will build up. Now in a normal, or I shouldn't say normal, but in a more conventional air conditioning system, you can install much more advanced filtration, and you don't really have to worry about this quite as much. But with a ductless system, you're kind of stuck with the filtration that you have. So since the filter doesn't really capture the real fine dust, we get this buildup, which I don't know if you guys can really see, but I can definitely see it in person. And you get this buildup on the coil, and over time, and it really won't take all that long, it can and will plug the coil. And this equipment is obviously not cheap by any means, so if you take some simple steps to combat this, you'll be good to go. Now, what I use to clean the coil is coil cleaner. Sounds very redundant, but being a professional in the HVAC industry, obviously I have very easy access to such chemicals, and I know that you can obviously buy it online. Some of you guys might want to do that if you have multiple systems, but if you only have one system, I wouldn't really worry about it. But a substitute, any mild detergent, mild degreaser, anything non-toxic, me personally, I prefer something that's completely non-toxic to humans for the most part, biodegradable, etc. And Simple Green is a good chemical to use, and you can use it at a real strong solution. It's not going to damage the aluminum fins on the coil, but that's the main thing that you have to keep in mind, is that a lot of harsh chemicals will in fact eat aluminum, so you do have to be kind of careful what you use. But after you take your mix up your cleaning solution, whatever you use a pump sprayer, which makes it much easier. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start from the top of the coil and just spray her down. And this coil is kind of in the shape of like a, I don't know what you would say, but it basically starts down here and ends right about where my fingers are here. And you're going to want to start from the top. You can go ahead and spray right through the plastic. It's not going to hurt anything because obviously we are using a mild chemical. And just go ahead and start spraying from the top and go up under here, spray kind of in the middle, and you do kind of want to take your time to make sure that you are getting the solution down into the fins of the coil. And once you are done, it's very easy. All you have to do is you don't have to go and rinse it off with water or anything like that. You can if you want, but what my recommendation would be is to actually just go ahead and go back to your regular operation. So all you have to do is switch the unit back into cooling and run the temperature down and let it run for a while. Condensation builds up on this coil and it will quite literally just rinse itself, which is really easy. I mean, you can basically just walk away from it. You can go ahead and, you know, take a look at it in a few hours later on in the day to make sure that you're not building up a bunch of fucking soap suds or something like that, because if you do use you know, something that will create suds, that can happen. I haven't seen it too often, but obviously if you see that it's not rinsing itself very easily, just go ahead and fill your pump sprayer up with plain water and go ahead and just spray it down the same way you did when you were spraying the cleaner on it. And basically that cleaning solution water will work its way into the drain pan, which sits, basically the coil sits in this drain pan, and then it's got a drain which is piped up to the bottom of the unit here, and then that will just drain outside into your yard and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about it. Now, once you're all done with that, the next thing that you're going to want to check with your mini split system, you're going to want to go to the outdoor unit, which I'm not going to do right now because it's not only dark but fucking windy as hell. We lost focus here for some reason. But it's extremely windy and raining right now, so I'm not going to bother actually going outside at this point in time. But outside you have a similar component to your evaporator coil here, and that is your condenser coil. And if you look at the back of the outdoor unit, it looks exactly the same as your evaporator coil, but it's going to be much bigger, and oftentimes it is much more prone to debris. There are some areas, I know around here I have cottonwoods, for example. A certain time of the year that cottonwood shit will just fucking plug the hell out of the coil. And the difference out there is you don't have any filtration, and don't go and try to MacGyver up some sort of filter to throw on the back of your unit. You'll just cause an airflow restriction and hurt the efficiency, and just take my word for it, you don't want to do that. But basically the same exact protocol. You can clean it the same exact way. The only difference here is that you can't allow the coil to rinse itself, because that coil under air conditioning mode does not produce condensation. So you can actually just go ahead and use the garden hose. Don't use too heavy of a stream because you can bend the fins on that coil if you're not careful. Just spray it down with a cleaner. Come back to it in about 5 minutes after you've allowed enough time for that cleaner to work itself into the coil. Just go ahead and rinse it out and you're good to go. And just as a little tip there too, if you actually apply the cleaning solution while the coil is dry as opposed to wet, it actually works much better. So take my advice there. And yeah guys, that's basically it as far as the maintenance goes for these systems. But like I said, I mean, they're so expensive and such a vital component in your garden once you do have one, and you guys that do know what I'm talking about. I mean, it's such an important factor, and it's so easy to do that I know a lot of people actually neglect to do, just because it's kind of one of those out of sight, out of mind kind of things. And then of course, you know, some people that aren't quite as familiar with air conditioning equipment, HVAC equipment, just simply might not know that these things have to be done. But yeah, as long as you keep your coils clear, you're pretty much golden. You know, as far as the technical jargon with you know, checking pressures and amp draw and everything of that nature. None of that's really necessary unless you suspect there to actually be a problem, in which 99% of the time you're gonna have to find somebody like myself who is experienced with the equipment to find the problem. But yeah, guys, that's basically it. I just wanted to go over that. And yeah, we got some big things going on here in the garden that I'm just actually about ready to get underway right now. So as soon as I get done with this video, I'm going to start bringing the plants down, and I will give a update to let you guys know what we're going to be running and everything like that. So yeah, hope this helps hope this helps somebody, as I'm sure it will. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Peace out. We'll see you next time.